If you're between 75 and 85 years old and you're still doing these 6 things, I need you to keep watching because what I'm about to tell you might be the most important thing you hear all week. Most doctors won't say this out loud. Most people don't even realize it. But the truth is, your habits right now, the small everyday things you do without even thinking about them, are telling a story about your body that most people never learn to read. Some folks your age are stuck on the couch, struggling with their knees, their balance, their energy. And then there are others who are still moving, still sharp, still doing things that most people half their age have already given up on. The difference between those two groups isn't luck. It isn't just good genes either. It comes down to 6 specific things, simple things. Things you can check off in your own life right now, sitting right where you are. And if you're still doing even a few of them, I promise you, you are part of a very small, very fortunate group. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly where you stand. And more importantly, you'll know exactly what to do next. Let's get into the first one. Let's talk about the first thing. And it might surprise you because it's so simple that most people overlook it completely. Can you still get up from a chair without using your hands? Sounds small, doesn't it? But doctors who study aging will tell you this one habit says more about your future health than almost anything else. Your legs aren't just for walking. They're a window into your whole body, your heart, your balance, your independence. When someone in their late 70s or early 80s can stand straight up from a kitchen chair, no armrest, no pushing off the table, no struggle, that tells you their muscles are still firing the way they're supposed to. It tells you their balance system, the one buried deep in your inner ear and your brain, is still talking to your legs the way it did decades ago. Here's why this matters so much. Every year after 60, most people lose a small percentage of muscle mass if they don't actively work against it. It happens quietly. No pain, no warning signs. One day getting up is easy. A few years later, without realizing it, you're leaning on furniture, holding the wall, asking for a hand. And once that slide starts, it doesn't just affect your legs, it affects your confidence to go out, to travel, to play with your grandkids on the floor. Many people don't even realize this is happening until it's already changed how they live. But if you're still rising from that chair on your own, that's not luck. That's your body telling you something good is still happening inside, even after 7, 8 decades of living. It means your nervous system, your joints, your muscles are still working as a team. And that's worth recognizing because so many people your age have quietly stopped being able to do this without even noticing the moment it changed. Now here's something else worth paying attention to. And it ties directly into the first thing. It's about your hands. Not just whether they're shaky or steady, but something a little more specific. Can you still open a jar lid on your own? Can you still button a shirt without fumbling? This is the second sign, and the reason it matters is much more important than it seems. I'll explain exactly why in the next part. Because what's happening in your hands is connected to something happening much deeper in your body. And once you understand it, you'll start noticing it in your own daily life. So let's pick up where we left off. Your hands. Why does something as simple as opening a jar or buttoning a shirt matter so much when it comes to healthy aging? Here's the reason, and it's more important than it seems. Your hands are run by some of the most sensitive nerve pathways in your entire body. The grip strength in your hands is directly tied to something doctors call overall functional strength. Basically, a snapshot of how well your whole muscular and nervous system is holding up. Researchers have actually found that grip strength is one of the simplest predictors of how someone is aging internally, even more than some lab tests. So if you can still twist open that stubborn jar lid or thread a button through a hole without your fingers shaking, that's not a small thing. That's your nervous system and your muscles still communicating clearly, year after year, decade after decade. This is very important. It's not about being strong like you were at 40. It's about steadiness, consistency, the kind of quiet reliability where your body still does what you ask it to do without hesitation. Many people are making the mistake of assuming that getting weaker is just part of getting old, something you simply have to accept. But that's not entirely true. A lot of that decline comes from disuse, from sitting more, reaching less, gripping things less often. The body adapts to what you ask of it. Ask less and it gives you less. Ask a little more, even gently, and it often responds. Now let's talk about the third thing, because this one surprises a lot of people. It has nothing to do with your muscles at all. It's about your memory for routines. Specifically, whether you can still follow a recipe, manage your own medication schedule, or keep track of bills and appointments without someone else stepping in to manage it for you. This is what doctors sometimes call instrumental independence, and it's one of the clearest signs of a sharp, well-functioning mind. It's not about remembering every birthday or every name from 40 years ago. It's about whether your brain can still organize daily life, step by step, task by task, the way it always has. Here's what's fascinating about this one. The brain is incredibly good at hiding small struggles. Someone can seem completely fine in conversation, sharp, witty, full of stories, and still be quietly slipping behind on the practical, day-to-day organizing that keeps a household running. So if you're still the one paying your own bills, keeping track of your pills without a daily reminder app, following a recipe without getting lost halfway through, that's a genuinely good sign. It means the part of your brain responsible for planning and sequencing, what's sometimes called your executive function, is still doing its job well. But here's where it gets even more interesting. There's a fourth thing, and this one isn't physical or mental at all. It's about who you talk to and how often. The connection between this habit and long-term health is stronger than almost anyone expects. And once I explain it, you'll understand why doctors are paying so much more attention to it now than they did even 10 years ago. Let's get into it next. Here's the fourth thing, and it might be the most overlooked of all. Are you still talking to people? Really talking, not just nodding along on a regular basis? A neighbor stopping by? A weekly phone call with a friend? A few minutes of real conversation at church, at the store, or over coffee with someone who knows your name and asks how you're really doing? This one isn't about muscles or memory, it's about connection. And the research on this is honestly startling. Studies have linked regular social connection to lower rates of decline in both the heart and the brain, in ways that rival some of the more medical things we worry about, like diet and exercise. Loneliness, on the other hand, has been shown to put real measurable strain on the body, raising stress hormones, affecting sleep, even affecting how the immune system responds. So, if you're still calling your sister every Sunday, still showing up for coffee with the same old friends, still chatting with your mail carrier or the cashier at the grocery store, that's not just pleasant, that's protective. Many people don't even realize this is one of the strongest predictors of a long, vibrant life. Now, here's the fifth thing, and it ties everything together. Are you still curious? Still learning something new, even in small ways? A new card game, a new recipe, a new route on your walk, a new show you've never tried before? Curiosity keeps the brain forming new connections, what scientists call neuroplasticity, well into your 70s, 80s, and beyond. A mind that's still asking questions, still a little restless for something new, is a mind that's still growing, even later in life. This is very important to understand because so many people quietly stop trying new things without realizing that the habit of learning itself is part of what keeps the brain young. And finally, the sixth thing, maybe the simplest of all, but in some ways the most telling. Do you still laugh easily? Not forced, polite laughter, but the real kind. At a joke, a memory, something silly your grandkid said. Doctors who study aging will tell you that a sense of humor that stayed intact, a willingness to still find joy in small moments, often reflects a kind of emotional resilience that's just as protective as anything physical. It means you face the hard parts of life, and there always are hard parts by 75 or 85, and still come out the other side able to laugh. So here's where we land. If you read through these six things, rising from a chair with ease, steady, and capable hands, managing your own daily routines, staying socially connected, staying curious and still finding reasons to laugh, and you recognize yourself in even 3 or 4 of them, that puts you in a genuinely small, fortunate group. Not because of luck, because somewhere along the way, whether you realized it or not, you kept doing the small things that matter. And if you noticed 1 or 2 areas where you've slipped a little away, that's not a reason to worry. It's actually good news because every single one of these 6 things can be rebuilt. Gently, starting today. A little more movement, a little more connection, a little more curiosity. It doesn't take dramatic changes, just consistency. If this video spoke to you or reminded you of someone you love, a parent, a grandparent, a neighbor who's still going strong, share it with them. Let them know you see what they're doing and that it matters. And if you found this helpful, stay close, because there's a lot more we can talk about together on this journey toward aging well with strength, clarity, and joy.